I'm going to talk about Allport's scale of prejudice. Allport came up with this scale after the Second World War. He wanted to try and work out how the Holocaust could ever happen, how quite small acts of discrimination and prejudice could turn into something so huge as the Holocaust. And so what he came up with was his 5-scale model. The first stage of the model is antilocution. So that might be quite small things. So for example, it might be someone saying that's gay, it might be someone making sexist comments or wolf whistling when you walk down the street. So things that actually might not seem like a very big deal. The second stage is avoidance. So that's someone or a group of people purposely avoiding a certain group of people because of their race, because of their sexual orientation, because of their gender identity, or because they're women. That's the second stage of the model. The third stage is discrimination. So that might be institutionalised things, that might be policies, that might be laws or practices that actually purposely discriminate against a certain group of people. The fourth stage is physical attack. So that might be someone assaulting someone else, that might include sexual assault, or certain physical acts that are aimed towards a certain group of people. And the final stage is extermination. And so in the case of the Holocaust, that was obviously the mass killing of Jewish people. But actually it could be other things. So for example, someone having to leave their work, moving house. So for example, this scale could be used, if you think of a woman called Wendy. She's a lesbian and she works in an office. No one in the office knows that she's gay, but she hears lots of kind of homophobic comments that actually might not seem like a very big deal to people. Stuff like that's gay, and eventually one day she accidentally says something about her female partner to her colleagues at work. So they get a bit awkward about that, they don't really know how to talk about it, they kind of feel that actually she probably doesn't really fit in with their group. So they stop inviting her for drinks on a Friday night because they feel that that's a bit easier, it makes it less awkward for them. So that's the second stage, that's avoidance. The third stage might be something like, so Wendy's partner is sick, but the policies that are in place in the office don't allow for her to take any time off because her partner's sick, and that only refers to people who are married. And so wouldn't incorporate same-sex couples within the policy. The fourth stage might be she goes to the Christmas party and she's going to the toilet and one of her male colleagues kind of pins her up against the wall on the way to the toilet and sexually assaults her, gropes her a bit and makes a comment about, oh, you're not really a lesbian, are you? So that's the fourth stage, that's physical attack. So all these things have compounded and made things more difficult. She's more discriminated against within the workplace, and eventually she just feels she can't really go on in the workplace. It's making her really, really stressed. It's making her feel really unsafe within that workplace, and because of the policies, because of the practice within that workplace, she doesn't actually feel that it's a very safe place to be, and so she quits. So it might be, the scale shows that it might be really, really that the end point of the scale might be that somebody is murdered, they might commit suicide, they might die, but actually it could be other, extermination could be other things like having to leave your job. So what Allport was saying was that although obviously we need to be tackling the really serious things, the high end of the scale, so the physical attack, the extermination, however, what he was saying is in order to do that, what you need to be doing is cutting things at the bottom. So you need to be tackling the things at the bottom of the scale. The sexist comments, the homophobic comments, the transphobic comments that people make that actually might not seem like a big deal. But if you cut things off at the bottom there, then it stops the more serious things from being able to happen and to escalate.